I am a certified male menopause champion. Now, what I do is I raise awareness of what the men go through when they're supporting their partners and their wives through the menopause, and also andropause, because not a single soul would ever believe that men actually also have their own pause journey as well. And a lot of you will be quite stunned when I tell you that actually I've been having a lot of the symptoms that women have been experiencing in the menopause, the hot flushes, the brain fogs, the bloating, the mood swings, the emotional outbursts, all those. Um, but I really want to start by talking about my menopause experience, how it impacted me, and why I'm advocating it. So over 5 years ago, I was in a really loving relationship with a woman I love so much. We were together for 3 years and we were literally inseparable. We were doing so much together and we were actually close to engagement. And then I noticed sudden changes in the character, which at the time I could not understand because I had no clue what menopause was. So we sat down and we started having conversations about things, and suddenly, out of nowhere, I would find it just snapping. I was like, what's going on here? And when we were going out, the intimacy seemed to have vanished. There wasn't the monocuddling that there used to be anymore. So we sat down and we had a good talk about this. And shockingly, out of nowhere, bearing in mind that we were passionately together for 3 years, the words came out, I don't know if I love you anymore. And I was like, wow, I was taken aback by this. So we agreed by mutual consent to just take a back step from the relationship so we could actually figure out what was going on. That's when I started to learn the ropes about menopause, and I started to realize how much it was impacting her. So when she was feeding me back about the symptoms that she was experiencing, I was like, okay. So I did my research and I spoke to other people who'd gone through the same thing, who'd gone to the same challenges in their relationships when their partners had hit the menopause. So when I was reciting my findings to her in terms of the symptoms, what's actually involved, our relationship seemed to be going the right way, or so I thought. When 2000 appeared, that was the start of the new millennium, literally. Um, we, I suddenly found myself in a situation where I was frozen out. The communication was very, very cold. I went to jiu-jitsu class one day. I teach jiu-jitsu, I've been doing martial arts for 30 years. And I went on my phone to messages just to see if she was okay. I found myself suddenly blocked out of social media and WhatsApp. And I was an absolute devastated wreck, as you can imagine. I was crying tears to my family, to my friends. I felt worthless. I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't sleeping properly. It was affecting my work. I was having a lot of absence. Um, and I was spending a lot of days, if not weeks, just sitting on the couch for one whole day doing absolutely nothing. I felt numb. I felt useless. And then when I went to work, I worked for a few days and I just got to a point where I just about had enough. So I was standing at the edge of a road, cars going 40, 50 mile, and I had the intention of putting myself in front of one of those fast cars and ending my life because I felt that worthless. And luckily, the universe stopped me and judged me back into reality and made me realize that actually there's a purpose in this for me. That there's a lot of other men that are in relationships that are not fully understanding what women are going through, but not just that, but also a lot of women are not aware of their bodies. So to have a man step into that world and then bring that awareness of menopause from a male perspective has been enlightening for corporate organizations where I've been stepping into the environments and raising awareness of how the menopause journey can be impacting a man's mental health and how they need to be supported as much as a woman. And I find it absolutely inspiring that menopause has been brought to attention in the way that it has. However, I feel the need that men need to find a voice and speak up, which is what I'm actually going into organizations and doing. I'm helping men feel empowered by finding their voice. And women have been massive leaders of this in terms of finding the voice, because obviously menopause has come into prominence because women have found a voice. And I'm going in there and encouraging men through tools like listening, understanding, compassion, to actually realize that they matter as well. They're human beings. They're not just robot machines that need to suck it up and get on with it. So then that led me to another exploration. Surely, with both men and women being human beings, if women go through the menopause, men surely have an equivalent. So not only did I look this up, but then I suddenly started to realize that actually I've been having the symptoms as well. More recently, I've been having things like hot flushes. So I'm sitting down, and the next thing you know, I'll be heating up. My partner is holding my arm. She's saying, "Gosh, you're boiling up. What's going on here?" And then I suddenly find myself sweating. Brain fog is the worst for me. So I can be told something, and then within minutes, I can forget what was told to me. Or I can actually ask my partner if she wanted to do something that she'd already told me to do a second ago. I can forget the names of streets, forget the names of relatives, forget the names of friends that are known for years and years. I have bloating, so I sometimes feel like I need to go to the toilet. I need to find out it's gas. I have mood swings completely out of nowhere. I have emotional outbursts, dizziness. Even the finer, lesser known menopause symptoms like tinnitus. I've also been having dry mouth, and I've been having itchiness and irritation all over my body. Um, and what I'm doing is going into organizations and actually raising the awareness that men actually go through this as well, so that men can actually gain the equal support as much as women too, and that the midlife transition, or I like to call it the midlife pause or journey, is actually shared experience between men and women. And what I'm doing is when I'm going to organizations, I'm actually finding that men and women are actually opening up to each other about their experiences. So for example, a man is speaking about his experiences, saying, "I'm feeling emotionally down. I suddenly got low motivation and it's affecting my performance." And women are coming up to them and saying, "I'm feeling like that. Let's talk." So what's happening now is men and women are actually working together to actually understand their bodies better and to be able to support their partners as well as to understand themselves as well. So that is, in a nutshell, what I do. I go into organizations and raise awareness of both of these. And yes, I do get people saying, "Men really having the pause of journeys? That's not possible." What we've got to think about is this: boys and girls go through puberty. So if boys and girls go through puberty, it can't be reasonable to expect that women can go through puberty and then have reverse puberty, while men go through the puberty and just have it happily ever after for the rest of their life. And by going into organizations and actually raising awareness of this, suddenly I'm finding that men are thinking, "Jesus, I'm going through that. I'm feeling this." And they're slowly starting to open up, realizing the importance that if they open up, that is what's going to help bosses and employers support them, make them feel heard, make them feel understood, and make them sort of fit in an environment where they can actually be supported and ask, "Are you okay? Do you need any help?" It also brings out the value of inclusivity and equality, because there's a lot of men that I speak to that feel, we don't feel heard enough because of our mental health. And that's why bosses have come over to me and said, "Can you speak for our organizations?" So when I do that, the inclusivity and the equality feels a lot stronger because men and women are heard. And even women are starting to realize, do you know what? That's what my partner's doing. That's how my partner's behaving. I need to understand him better. Because one of the biggest statistics I've found out through research is that in the population, in terms of couples, the man is more older than the woman than the reverse. So there's a good chance that the man could either hit his andropause before the woman hits her menopause, or bearing in mind a lot more women are hitting their menopause around their mid to late 30s, both men and women could be hitting their pausal journeys at the same time. Now, can you imagine if you have two sets of fluctuating hormones under one household and nobody knows what's going on? So when I step into organizations and raise that awareness, suddenly it sparks enlightenment in both men and women, thinking, now I know why my partner's acting the way that he is. Now I understand why my partner's acting the way that she is. I need to look at more of this. I need to understand this more. So by doing that, it allows them to sort of help their relationships. But what it also does for bosses and employees, it allows them to support their employees more, to ensure that it's not necessarily a case of performance management, but to make sure that they retain the best employees without judging them, and to make sure that even when they're feeling low, they can still be at their reasonable best when it comes to performance. They can feel supported, they can operate at a better level. So that, in a nutshell, is what I do.